Vanakkam. In today's episode of Story Time at Kadambavanam, the story of the Periyapuranam descends from the heavens that we saw in the last episode, that is the Thirumalai Charkam, and now comes to the Solanadu, Naatu, wherein Sekira describes the bountiful lands of the Chola country made fertile by the river Kaveri, and goes on to describe the beauty of the city of Thiruvarur. Now, it is here that one of the handmaidens in the previous story, Kamalini, is reborn as Paravai Nachiyar. Recounting the beauty of the city of Thiruvarur, Sekirar goes on to narrate the story of the king Manu needhi Cholan. Coming from the lineage of Anabaya Solan, Manu was a great ruler, a very righteous king that earned him the name Manu needhi Cholan. He and his wife Ratnamala had a beloved son, and one day the prince, with all his entourage, was riding his golden chariot in the chariot path. At that time, a young calf came bouncing onto the path and fell in the wheels of the chariot and was crushed. The prince was shocked. He got down from his chariot but came to see that the mother of the calf, the cow, had heard the wail and come there and was crying in tears. Its anguish was unbearable. The prince didn't know what to do. He immediately called the ministers and said, "Let us find out the rituals that have to be performed to absolve me of this great sin, and let us do so immediately before word reaches father." But it so happened in the city of Thiruvarur, outside the palace gates was a huge bell, and any of its citizens who had any grievances that they wanted to take up with the king had to just go and ring the bell, and that would bring Manu needhi Cholan to the gates. The cow, in all its anguish, went and rang this bell. The astonished guards ran to the king with the news. The king came out of the palace gates and saw the cow and then gave a look at his minister, who had to tell him what had happened. And he said, "King, do not worry. The prince has already started doing the rituals which will absolve us of this sin." The king asked the minister, "Well, that might do good for us, but what good would it do to this cow which is in anguish and in tears?" He thought for a moment and said, "There is only one way that I can deliver justice in this situation. I would have to lose my own son and experience the same anguish that the cow is experiencing." And he ordered the minister, "Go and bring the prince, get my chariot ready, and drive it over him, and let him face it." The minister was shocked, and he said, "Rather than doing your bidding, my dear lord, I would lose my life." And he did. The king was not affected by this, and he said, "If none of them are up to the task, I will do it myself." So he made his son lie on the chariot path and rode his chariot over his own son and crushed him. At that moment, the Lord Sivaberman appeared in the heavens with the goddess Uma Deviyar and blessed Manu needhi Cholan for his great sense of righteousness. The prince, the minister, and the calf were brought back to life. This is the story narrated by Sekirar as part of Thiruvarur Chirappu, from where we enter the main story, which we will enjoy in the next episode of Story Time at Kadambavanam. Vanakkam.